And yeah, there we are. Hey, Chidorin! There we go. This time I do remember where we left off, exactly. It was that good of a moment. Hey, Desolane! Oh, alright, let's go. Alright. Footsteps were approaching that place. There was no way she could mistake them. Third. Hey, Bear. Just by a few seconds. It's... You're all first in my heart. That boisterous noise of shoes against the ground was the sound of Battler's footsteps. Right back into the emotions. Yep, straight back in. Oh god, what is he gonna do?
Ah, 見てたぜ。
なあ、これでわらわは魔女になれたかな。そなたの対戦相手の資格できたかな。
ダメだな。
But he didn't say it in his usual way. Like, I felt some warmth and kindness in that damedana. Oh. Battler said that unbelievably bluntly. Taking a painful breath, Beatrice saw that and sneered at herself as though she should have expected it.
本当の魔女への道はまだまだ険しいな。だがわらわは屈しぬぞ。そなたわらわの苛波に決して屈しなかったように、必ず本当の魔女になってそなたの対戦相手に。
ああ、ダメだな。全然ダメだ。お前は俺の対戦相手じゃない。
The brutal witch raised her foot high. Below it was Beatrice's frail heart.
死ねよババア。ぐちゃっと潰れて、それでも無限が示せるってんなら示してごらんなさいよ。魔女は私よ。黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェは私なのよ。死ねー。
ああ、ダメだ。全然ダメだ。
Oh. Yes, it's such an iconic line.
ここは
席につけ。俺の対戦相手はベアトじゃない。てめえだ。
バトル。これは何の魔法なの？どうでもいいわ。知ったことじゃない。シエスタ姉妹。45了解。カッコ射撃。410了解。死ねバトラ。
Good luck. The Chester sisters each readied their own golden bows and fired golden arrows. The two only pulled the bowstring together when using precision guidance. If they were fighting against an enemy before their eyes, they fired their bows at the same time. and the power was no different from what it normally was. The warheads of the golden bows could penetrate any magical armor with their mutual corrosion. When attempting to block that using the anti-magic resistance stat, even something with 8 digits wouldn't escape penetration. Furthermore, even among the famous gods that appear in myths, there are not many who reach a resistance stat of 9 digits. For that reason, 9 digits were enough to measure almost all imaginable values. Battler had filled all 9 of those digits with 9s.
愚かな。本気のバトラ様の前に魔法の矢など髪の毛を揺らすことさえ及ばぬのに。
The Chiesta sisters dropped their golden bows in shock. To this battler, it felt even less perceptible than 2 dragonflies passing by his sides.
何やってんだ、てめえら。
Oh my god. I love it. Battler is so cool and over 9,000, yes. Oh, I'm getting a weird flutter in my heart. I don't know what this is. I'm really enjoying this.
遊んでるのかよ。
It's so dorky but so cool. Yes, exactly. So exactly.
ザコは下がっていろ。席につけ。このエセ魔女め。てめえの化けの皮は俺が剥ぐ。
The Chiesta sisters couldn't hide their fear at Battler's ferocity, and they backed up as though they had been struck. Beatrice watched the scene in shock.
これはバトラー何の真似なのか。
見ての通りさ。俺の対戦相手はお前じゃない。そいつだ。そこにいる。お前の名前を語る偽物さ。俺は魔女と戦っている。そして対戦相手に魔女を名乗る者を据え、そいつを打ち破ることで魔女を否定する。てめえの傍若無人はたっぷり見させてもらったぜ。
Then Battler's eyes grew as sharp as blades as he fixed his eyes on the cruel witch.
何が魔法だ。何が魔女だ。てめえは魔女じゃない。俺が化けの皮を剥いでバラバラにしてやるぜ。ワルギリア、戦闘準備だ。
了解しました。準備よし、いつでもどうぞ。ベアトリーチェ、あなたは下がって休みなさい。
Beato looked at Battler timidly. Oh, sorry about that. She still hadn't been acknowledged as his opponent. Was she qualified to watch the game board from the sidelines?
ベアト、下がってみてろ。俺が剥ぐ。このエセ魔女を徹底的に分解してやる。こんな奴を魔女とは名乗らせられねえ。お前は本当の魔女の名誉を守った。
Oh, look, Beato, you're being acknowledged. Oh.
わらわはその
何も言う必要はない。黄金の魔女の名は決して安っぽくないってことをお前に代わって教えてやら。
Oh, this is so cool.
大まかなルールは以上でございます。
Like a knight in shining. He's exactly that. I like him so much.
ありがとう、ロノウェ。
Especially when he is like serious like this and super confident in himself. I want him to be like that all the time because that's when he shines the most. I love it.
大体のルールは分かったわ。 なるほどね。魔法では勝てないから魔法以外で決着できる世界で私に一騎打ちを挑んできたわけね。愚かな連中。へりくつで私に勝てると本気で思ってるのね。
ああ、思ってる。てめえのへりくつを俺が全て叩き潰してやるぜ。エヴァおばさんよ。
私はエヴァではないわ。それは私の古い抜け殻の名よ。私は彼女のうちに生まれた本当の魔女。
ごまかすな。てめえの正体は魔女でも何でもない。生身の人間だ。人間の犯人だ。後ろ宮エヴァだ。ワルギリア、第二の番を再構築。
Ooh, okay. I'm getting serious.
了解。第二の晩はバラ庭園にてローザとマリアが殺されました。当方はそれをエヴァ犯人説にて処手。
はあ、バカバカしい。さあさあおいでなさい。思い出してごらんなさい。後ろ宮秀吉がどんな姿をしていたのか。
何の真似をしやがった。
死者の召喚だ。魔女は証言台に死者を立たせることもたやすい。
An Uncle Hideyoshi who you could see right through was summoned. Magic sure is convenient. He looked as though he couldn't see what was going on here, almost like a person on the other side of the TV.
証人喚問。後ろ宮秀吉の証言よ。さあさあ秀吉、お話しなさいな。
わしは部屋でずっとエヴァの看病をしとったんや。もちろんエヴァが部屋を出るわけもあらへん。
エヴァおばさん、ここじゃ赤くねえ証言は絵の役にも立たねえぜ。赤で再度の復唱を要求する。
ああ、そうだったわね。いいわよ、赤で言ってあげなさい。
わしはずっと部屋におったで。事件の前後の時間帯は全てや。
Well, that's you.
さあほら、
You just said that you were in the room, my friend.
これでエ
That's
ヴァが犯人ってことはありえなくなったわよ。どう返してくれるのかしら。
バカバカしい。くだらなさすぎてあくびが出る一手だ。ベアとは一度たりともこんな子供騙しな一手を打ったことは
At
ない。
least she tried, you know, to disguise stuff into something else. Or, you know, make it hard to guess.
復唱要求。エヴァおばさんも事件前後の時間帯は全て部屋にいた。秀吉おじさんはただのアリバイ工作員だ。あんたはおじさんに留守番をさせてこっそり部屋を抜け出していたんだ。そうでないならこいつが赤で言えるはずだぜ。
復唱拒否。秀吉の証言だけで十分よ。それを復唱する必要はないでしょ。
降りてきましたね。容赦は無用です。これでチェック。
ああ、いただきだぜ。ちょろい相手だ。チェック。秀吉おじさんは終始部屋を出なかったろうさ。しかしあんたを看病していたというのは真っ赤な嘘だ。よってあんたのアリバイは存在しない。あんたには部屋を抜け出してローザおばさんたちを殺すチャンスがあった。かわせるってんなら赤でエヴァおばさんは部屋から一歩も出ていないと宣言してみろ。
Ah, my bad. I pressed the wrong button.
できねえだろ。チェックメイトだ。
何よそれ。わけがわかんない。
悪いなおばさん。たとえルールに不慣れであっても全力で叩き潰すのがこのゲームの流儀だぜ。なあベアト。
魔女側リザインでございます。次のゲームに進みましょう。続きますは第4から第6の番でございます。
It seemed that the witch still didn't understand how to approach things and was losing her composure and irritation. She was probably also angry that a shot had been taken at her while she still didn't get what was going on. But I won't go easy on her at all. Just like she didn't go easy on the victims at all, I won't go the slightest bit easy on her.
ワルギリア、次の事件だ。親父たちの事件を再構築。
了解。ルドルフ、キリエ、秀吉の3人は屋敷へ向かい、そこで殺されました。
俺からの指し手は変わらない。エヴァおばさん、あんたが犯人だ。今度は秀吉おじさんのアリバイすらねえぞ。あんたはたった一人で部屋で寝ていたと主張している。しかしそれは虚偽だ。赤で宣言できるものならしてみやがれ。
拒否するわ。なら教えてよ。エヴァはただの女よ。そして殺されたのは銃を2丁も持つ大人が3人よ。彼女がたった一人でどうやって殺したというの？狂気の杭でどうやって？話によく出る杭の射出機ってどんな構造をしているのよ。それを説明してよ。それが説明できない限りエヴァにアリバイがないとしてもエヴァに殺人が可能だったことにはならないわよ。
説明拒否。悪魔の証明だ。説明不能だからといって未知の殺害方法もしくは未知の凶器の存在を否定できない。つまり俺が杭の射出機の構造を説明できなくてもその存在を否定することにはならない。
何よそれ。そんなめちゃくちゃって通るの？
Oh yeah.
悪魔の証明、有効です。
同じく悪魔の証明、有効です。バトラ君はその射出機の構造を説明する義務を負わずにその存在を主張できます。魔女側はこの手を反論できません。
やるではないか。なんと強引な。
I guess he learned from the best.
どこぞの性悪魔女にたっぷり鍛えられたからな。これでチェックだぜ。エヴァおばさんが部屋から一歩も出てないと赤で言ってみろ。そうさ、言えるはずはないのさ。言えないならば決まりだぜ。チェックメイトだ。
なんて暴論。こんなのめちゃくちゃよ。
そういうルールのゲームでございますので、まずは紅茶でもいかがですかな。
Yeah.
美味しいクッキーもございますよ。
Cookies.
いらないわよそんなの。あーイライラするわ。魔法で勝てないからってこんな卑怯な戦いで。
イラつくなよ。紅茶でも飲めよ。俺はストレートでもらうぜ。ベアトは
わらわは良い。それよりバカ、油断するな。向こうがルールに不慣れなだけだ。向こうが要領をつかんでからが本番だぞ。
だが潰す。徹底的に潰す。なぜなら奴は魔女ではないからだ。あいつを魔女だと認めたらお前の通した意地が通らない。
Yeah, I am bracing myself for her making some sort of counterattack eventually, because then it would be boring, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this moment. It's so good. You go, Battler, you go, my friend.
いかなる暴論であろうとへりくつであろうと俺が全身全霊で叩き潰す。
Battler's side then stuck with the Eva culprit theory to explain Kraus and Natsuhi. The 7th and 8th Twilights, in the exact same way. At that time, there had been no one on the first floor of the guest house except for Eva and the victims. As before, no one could establish an alibi for Eva. At the time, Eva had claimed that they had disappeared while she was in the lavatory, but nothing supported that, and the witch side couldn't repeat that in red either. With the same argument as she had used to ask about the construction of the shooting machine, the witch side asked once more how Eva could have strangled both of them at the same time all by herself. But of course, Battler splendidly counterattacked by refusing to explain because of the devil's fruit. Under the storm and stress of Battler's spirit, the witch side was completely swallowed up, and was forced to resign 3 times during the short period of time she had to grasp the rules. Okay, now what?
なるほどね。ようやくコツが分かってきたわ。もうあんたの思い通りにことは運ばせないわよ。
Alright, let's see.
今度は私から仕掛けさせてもらうわ。ロノウェ、第4から第6の番を再構
Best song.
築。
It seems all of them are the best songs.
後ろ宮切江をピックアップ。ここで一度第4から第6の番のルドルフ切江秀吉の殺人に話を戻させてもらう。
あやつめ、一度はリザインした局面をなぜもう一度。
なるほど、あなたが刺さない珍しい攻め手です。注意して。
当時生存者たちはゲストハウスへ籠城していたわ。食料がなかったけれど彼らは安全を考え、翌日まで食事を抜く覚悟さえあった。
This whole exchange was one of my favorite moments. It's the first time where they go step by step and I was able to figure some things out on my own. Fun memories. Alright.
けれど結局3人は食料を求めて外へ出るわ。
そうだな。結局3人は食料を取りに表へ出る。
面倒だから赤を交えて語るわよ。切江は食料はいらないと考えてた。
Okay.
1日くらい食事を抜いても死なないのだからとゲストハウスを出ないべきだと主張していた。にもかかわらず彼女は自ら食料を取りにゲストハウスを出ようと提案する。これは矛盾しない？
はい、見事に矛盾します。切江の行動式に矛盾します。
その矛盾は私が魔法で作り出したの。
That's such a stretch. Such a stretch.
つまり私が魔法で切江を操ってそう言い出させて生贄たちが外出するように誘導した。
バカバカしい。そんな魔法あるわけがねえ。
悪魔の証明よ。バトラ君が知らない魔法だからといって存在を否定することにはならない。そしてその魔法を私は実演する義務も負わない。それでいてさらにあなたには反論の余地もない。こういう戦い方でよろしいのかしら。
はい、実にお見事な一手です。バトラ様、受け手をお願いいたします。
おかしな論法に持ち込んできやがったぜ。
I don't know, but Kiria doesn't really, at least from what we know so far about her, because who knows, you know, there might be layers in there that we have not seen. But she doesn't strike me like the kind of person to just stay holed up in a place in fear, hoping that salvation will come from the exterior the next day. Maybe she truly did not believe they needed food, and she truly did believe that they would survive one day without food, but she wanted to do something instead of just sitting there and hoping that they're safe. So probably her and maybe Rudolph as well together, they had some sort of plan. And also they definitely, at least from what we saw, they came very well prepared. So they probably tried to pull something there. Maybe. Who knows? That could be an avenue of exploring what happened from a human perspective without having to be like, oh, it was magic that convinced her to go outside anyway.
つまりどういうことだ。
後ろ宮切江の行動式に対して駒を打ってきました。すでに説明がある通り、切江は食料を屋敷に取りに外へ出るべきではないという行動式を持っていました。にもかかわらず彼女は率先して食料を取りに行こうという矛盾した行動をとります。この矛盾が説明できない限り それを魔法であると主張する暴力的な手です。
そりゃ最初はキリエさんもそう考えてたんだろうよ。しかし多分途中で色々と考えて、やっぱり食料は必要だろうと心変わりしたってことなんだろう。いざという時空腹で力が出ないってんじゃ意味ないだろうし、まあ
その心変わりが魔法によるものだと主張しているのです。つまり非常に困難なことですが、キリエが心変わりした理由を説明しなければならないのです。
なんだって、そんなのキリエさんの頭の中の話だろ。こっちにもキリエさんの霊を召喚して質問するとかできないのかよ。ベアト、お前キリエさんを呼び出したりできないのかよ。
できません。それは魔女側のみに許されている手です。
すまぬ。
くそ、多分だな、俺たち子供のことを考えてやっぱり食料は必要だろうと総合的に考えて。
Oh, come on, Butler. Just take a moment. Think about it. Don't scramble like this. You're better than this.
それを客観的に主張しなければなりません。キリエがある理由により食料がやはり必要であると心変わりした具体的な証拠が必要です。例えばそう証言したのを誰かが聞いたとか、何かに書き残したとか。
残念だけどその心変わりの理由は誰にも語られておらず、また記されてもいない。よってキリエの頭の中で何があったのか、あんたには憶測することしかできないの。つまり証明は不能。私の手に対しあなたは一切の反撃の一手を持たない。今度はあんたがリザインする番なのよ、バトラ君。
心変わりの理由など無限に想定できる。そしてその無限の可能性を全て潰しきることは不可能。
肉々しいほどに見事な一手でございます。マトラ様にこれを切り返す方法があるとすれば、多分あの手だけかと。
その手とは何なのか。
さて、どのような手でございましょうね。お嬢様の得意な手だったような気もしますが、私は思い出せません。
ケチケチしないで話せ。
ベアトリーチェ、自らの思考を停止させる者に与えられる答えはありませんよ。考えなさい。あなたなりの考えで。
Kiria probably. I don't need food, but it's my last chance to taste the grilled kinzo. Oh god, no.
とっととリザインしたら、ついでにさらに赤で追い詰めてあげるわ。キリエはね、死ぬ最後の瞬間まで食料を取りに行かないイコール屋敷に行かないという行動式を維持していたわ。
Hey? What does that even mean, maintained her pattern of behavior?
にもかかわらず率先して屋敷へ向かったわ。台車を押して食料を運ぼうとしたわ。その矛盾はなぜ？私が魔法で操ったから。
Hey, Irismoth, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome.
これこそが私の魔法が実在し、私が魔女である証拠なの。
うるせえ、黙れ。心変わりでさえないっていうのか。キレ様、死ぬまでずっと食料はいらない、屋敷には行かないと思ってたなら、なんで自分から進んで食料を取りに行こう、屋敷に行こうなんて言い出すんだ。
Obviously because she thought there was something to gain by doing that, even if getting the food was just a pretext. Come on, Battler, you got this.
魔法でキリエさんが操られていたっていうのか。そんなバカな。どうやってこの魔法を打ち破ればいいんだ。キリエさんがここにいてくれて、一言心変わりの理由を言ってくれれば。いや、心変わりすらしてないと。
Never forget he's incompetent in red.
どうすりゃいいんだ。人間側には反撃できる一手がね。
このゲームって知れば知るほどに魔女に有利なルールよね。 たとえいくつの局面で負けたとしても、たった一つだけ勝てれば、それだけで魔女は存在を誇示できる。つまりバトラ君には完全勝利以外に魔女を否定する方法はないの。
Also, he has to provide actual proof for it. He can't just claim something that might sound reasonable. It's a tricky one. Yeah. I'm thinking, how could you provide proof? And also, it's... I don't know.
ここまで私のことを散々エヴァ呼ばわりして追い詰めてきたつもりのようだけど、あなたの尊敬するキリエさん一人の頭の中の話だけで全てがひっくり返っちゃうなんて、実に滑稽よね。
I'm quick to forget that whenever Battler says something cool. Yes, because I believe him being cool is representative of his character, while him being a little bit lost and not knowing what to do is just a temporary thing. It's not, he's not incompetent. I declare it in blue, which is my favorite color. There we go. He just needs to get a grip, because this is one of his flaws. The moment he feels just a little bit out of his element, or, you know, he gets blindsided a little bit, he is completely, oh my god, fuck, I don't know what to do now. Is this really it? Am I completely defeated? And like, no, man, calm down. The proof part is tricky, and it's totally unfair, because the witch side doesn't need to provide any sort of proof. You know, she just pointed out, oh, this looks a little bit contradictory. I did it with magic, but I don't need to prove my magic, yet you need to prove the logical part. And that's very annoying. Sometimes it's easy to forget the battler is just 18 or something. Good blue truth, thank you, Iris Mom. Blue truth from this. I don't know. Alright, let's see how does this go.
リザイン認めちゃえば、負けちゃえば。
くそー、人間には証明不能だ。死者が何を思って行動したのかなんて推測の域を出ない。しかも推測程度じゃ魔法を否定できない。魔法を打ち破るためにはキリエさんがどうして心変わりしたのか客観的な証拠を。
I mean, can we go again through all of the things that happened before that? Just, you know, dissect things a little bit, because also my memory is a little bit bad, and we were being presented things from a certain perspective to kind of like... Because everything has been so magic and witch infused this episode, we never really had the chance to settle down a little bit, take the time to think about things from a different perspective and so on. So just like take it chill, and also trust Kyrie in the sense that you've interacted with her long enough to understand her logical framework and her way of reasoning, and if she made a decision that seems contradictory, something must be there to indicate, this is probably why she changed her mind, or this is probably what she was trying to achieve, which was disguised as the objective of getting food, or whatever it was.
でも畜生。
Come on, Battler.
どうして食料が欲しいと心変わりしたのか。その証拠は存在しないと赤で言
Yeah,
われ
but
ちま
maybe
っ
she
てる。
didn't want food. She wanted something else.
どうすりゃいいんだ。畜生畜生。
バトラ様、リザインでよろしいですか。
Don't.
食料を取りに行かない。でも実際には矛盾したこのキリエさんの考えをどう理解すればいいんだ。
理解なんかできないわよ。理解不能、解釈不能。その闇は全て魔女のものだもの。さあ考えても無駄よ。おやめなさい。 あなたに魔女を否定することなんてできやしない。だって私はこうして存在するんだもの。私こそは黄金の魔女。
I had to.
そこにいる元の魔女から名前を奪い取った。あなたに私がベアトリーチェであることを否定などできないのよ。
Just stop thinking and believe in evil, cruel witches. Yeah, I guess that would be easier for everyone.
その名を語る資格は貴様にね。
But taking the easy way is not the way we do things. It's not the way Battler does things. So that's not even an option. Also, how cool it is that he is defending Battle. How cool is that?
なのにそれを否定する手が思いつかねえ。
Battler could no longer counter this witch, who was laughing derisively in triumph. He didn't want to give up, but he could do nothing. He ground his teeth, making fists with both hands. But even so, he couldn't think of a brilliant counterattack.
バトラ様、制限時間を切りますが、リザインでよろしいですか？
人間側、受け手がありません。リザインをしま。待て。
Or stop thinking and believing good witches. Ooh.
反撃の手はある。
なんだって。
へえ、どんな手があるっていうのよ、先代様。このベアトリーチェの魔法をどんな手で否定できるのか教えてくださる？できないわ。そんなこと不可能よ。
食料を取りに行かないイコール屋敷に行かないという命題を、わらわはそれを待遇で説明する。つまりそれでも屋敷に行ったイコール食料以外の目的でとも説明できるのではないか。これはわらわの得意手のヘンペルのカラスというよりはバトラの得意手のチェス盤思考術よ。
Why is it that Beatrice has to remind Battler of his own specialty?
キリエが食料を目的に屋敷に行くことがありえないなら、それでもなおキリエが外へ出る他の目的があったとつまりその目的が証明できれば魔法は否定でき
This is
る。
what I said. I feel so good.
なるほど。食料を目的に屋敷には行かないが、他の目的があって、それを偽るために食料を取りに行こうと言い出したわけか。
Thank you. There we go.
確かにそれなら説明がまだ可能かもしれない。
The useless raven got mentioned.
しかし、どうやって？
お師匠様、キリエの死亡現場の再構
There we
築を
go.
例の召喚は
Let's
できぬ
dissect
が
some details.
死体の
Thank you.
検証は人間側の権利のはず。
ええ、問題ありませんよ。後ろ宮キリエの死亡現場を再構築します。私たちはキリエの霊を呼び出すことはできないけれど、キリエが何を残したかを知ることでそれを武器にできるかもしれない。
いいわよ。好きなだけを調べなさいよ。何もわかるわけがない。さっきも赤で言ったわよ。キリエは何も書き残してはいない。何を見つけたところで何もわかるものか。
No, she said two very specific things: that it wasn't written down and that it wasn't told to anyone. Right? But there could be other kinds of clues and things that can indicate something.
何も見つからないかもしれない。でもバトラは歯を食いしばってそなたを打ち破る一手を思いつこうと戦っておる。わらわにできることはこんな程度しかない。
Beato landed on her feet in the reconstructed hall, approached Kiria's fallen body and wandered about, observing.
人間側の戦い方は今一つ勝手がわからぬ。確か物証が必要だ。
This cracks me up for two reasons. One is that Beatrice is on the human side. Like, okay, my mind is exploding. And two, it's like, oh wait, this is how the human side must fight. We have to provide evidence, right? Which is not something that she is used to, because on the witch side, you can just claim that something was done with magic and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. Like, yeah, Beatrice, you're welcome. Welcome to this side of things, where we have it much more difficult. Beto and Battler teaming up is still the wildest thing here. It's so cool. I love it. I love every second of it.
なれば何を探せばいいのか。
大ベアトリーチェ教ともあろうお方が床に膝をつけて這い回って、みっともなく死体あさりとはね。お似合いな姿だこと。
何とでも言うがよい。わらわにはこれくらいしかできぬ。何を蔑まれようと構わぬ。
Confusing times. Actually, I feel... While I do not have a full explanation in human terms of what might have happened this episode, because there was a lot of witching involved, and I don't fully know how to explain that away, and I hadn't sat down to actually think about it because I just want to enjoy the story as it flows and not, overthink it too much. I feel like the point we're at right now is the clearest point that I have experienced in all of the episodes so far. Like, I have a concrete train of thought that we could try to follow, and that it feels like it might go in a direction, rather than just completely being confused and not knowing what the heck is going on or what you're supposed to do. So I feel like confusing times doesn't necessarily apply here, at least not in the way that it applied in the previous episodes.
だが、わらわの名誉のために戦うといったバトラー、わらわは捨ておけぬ。地を這い、死肉を漁ることになろうと思う。
Reminded that Rikishi made an extensive rewrite of his draft for episode 3 because people complained that episode 2 was too difficult. I thought it was intended to be that way, just to completely throw you off. But yeah.
その義理に応えねばならぬのだ。
While being subjective to the witch's sneers, Beto searched through Kiria's corpse. She fished through the pockets, taking out what was inside and laying it on the floor. Laid on the floor was a handkerchief, tissue, a key to her house, the stub of a plane ticket, a lighter, a cigarette butt, and a single 100-yen coin. There was no special suspicious object. Although Beato was down on all fours and being sneered at, that was all she could find. In parts, yes, but he didn't expect people to have so much trouble with it. With him being an avid mystery novel reader, it probably seemed easier to him. I mean, he had the solution in his head. So, well, I do understand that it is within the, let's say, mystery writer job description to put themselves in the shoes of the readers who don't know the story. There is only so much putting yourself in the shoes of others that you can do when you do know it, right? Isn't that the whole reason why you, like generally speaking, but Bear is the most concerned with that, where you are protecting me from spoilers, because the tiniest hint of anything could completely derail my genuine reaction to it. Understand what I mean? So, yes, but at the same time, he knew what was going on. He knew what he was trying to do and where he was going with it. So, it's hard to completely decouple yourself from that knowledge when you do have it. People were giving up and he became concerned. I mean, no wonder. It was a ridiculous episode. I personally wasn't into much guessing what was going on because it felt like it was meant for us to not have a clue and not be able to guess at all. Also, hi Bencho, how's it going? It's also why he keeps inserting these don't stop thinking scenes. He really wants to encourage people. It's kind of cute. Oh, I see. Yeah. Right. It's if it's with that kind of purpose, it is a bit cute. Let's see.
それでどうやって私の魔法を打ち破るっていうの？くだらない、くだらない。バカみたい。勇ましいことを言って割り込んでおきながら、その低たらくは何なの？ああ、情けない、恥ずかしい。へそかんで死んじゃえば。
Why don't you? The witch fell over laughing, taunting Beto. Beto hung her head, trying to withstand this shame.
お嬢様、検証は十分ですか？
これ以上何も見つからぬ。
以上の物証から何か反論の一手は出ますか？出なければ人間側リザインせざるを得ません。
当たり前でしょ？何も反論の余地なんてないのよ。私は魔女だもの。私の魔法は打ち破れない。あんたはもはや、元魔女でしかないのよ。ベアトリーチェを名乗ることも許されなくなった、ただの負け犬なのよ。さあ、そのゴミやガラクタを好きに積み重ねて、私の魔法を打ち破ってごらんなさい。できないでしょ。できないわよね。それはなぜ？私が魔女だからよ。あんたは名前さえ持たない負け犬だからよ。
Okay, we get it. I like this one.
何かあるはずなのだ。
Thanks for being born. It's so nice.
くじけぬ。くじけぬぞ。どれほど嘲笑われようとも。わらわの名誉のために戦うバトラ。
It's so infused with hope. I love it.
バトラの名誉のために。くじけるものか。
As Beto held back tears at the words of humiliation she was being showered with, in the hope that Kiria was holding something else, in the hope that she could find something that could save Battler from his plight, she searched earnestly. Let me actually, just for myself, I want to remember exactly what is written here. Human side? Okay, why was I... Okay, I don't know how this works, but anyway. Okay. Died in Dimensions Hall with her stomach having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. The stomach isn't a very lethal spot. Wouldn't it have been okay to kill her by a safer method than just stick a stake in the corpse? Okay. And for Rudolph, died in Dimensions Hall with his forehead having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. From now on they have to be finished off with stakes, apparently vulgar. Okay. And Hideyoshi again, died in Dimensions Hall with his chest having been pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. Careless, who knew she was still alive? Who knew she was still alive? What the heck does that mean? Okay. Where was I here? In the hope that she could find something that could save Battler from his plight, she searched earnestly. However, nothing more came up. I mean, sometimes you can tell the big picture from all the details, right? You have to take a step back and take it all in and try to imagine, oh, what could have happened here? And sure, maybe what Kirie is carrying is not indicating much right now, but if you try to put it into context and look at other things that are around and at the others as well, you know, maybe something comes up, I don't know.
後宮キリエ、そなたの息子の窮地をそなたが救わぬわけがない。
Your son. Aww. That is such a heavy statement to refer to Battler as her son.
頼む。死してなお、あやつのために力を貸してくれ。
However, Kirie's body did not answer. Of course it did not. It was only natural that the corpse would remain silent. No dead person existed that would answer battle now that she had lost the endless magic.
無駄よ、無駄無駄。死者をもてあそべるのは魔女だけのと魔女でもなく、そして人間ですらないあんたにあんたは永遠に魔女にも人間にも味方はなく、誰もあんたを助けてなんてくれないの。
悔
しければ泣いちゃえば、役に立てなくてごめんなさいって詫びちゃえば。
We get it.
バトラ、わらわでは何もそなたの力に。
Come on, Battler. Get it together and swoop in and find something to connect things with.
いや、十分だ。ありがとう。ベアト。
Come on.
お前の努力を俺は無駄にしない。
Alright. I'm liking the attitude. Keep it up, please.
慰めなどいらぬわ。このガラクタの山で一体何を反論できるというのか。あやつに嘲笑われてまでかき集めたこのガラクタがどうやって一矢報いれるというのか。
I think it's a little bit hasty to dismiss everything as rubbish. In front of Beto, who was still crawling on all fours and hitting the pile of objects Kirie had left behind with her fist, Battler also crouched. And after patting her on the shoulder in thanks, he moved that hand to the ground, picked up the cigarette butt, and held it up over his head. Yeah, I actually thought about that because I don't remember Kirie smoking.
そのゴミが何だというのか。
キリエさんはタバコを吸わない。
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. But Kirie was even holding a lighter. Certainly she wasn't carrying a box of cigarettes itself, but at a glance it very naturally looked as though Kirie had a smoking habit.
親父は吸ったが、キリエさんは吸わなかった。でも、親父のタバコに火をつけるために、ライターだけは持ち歩いてたんだ。
は？だからなんだというの？夫がタバコを吸うんなら、たとえ吸わなくても、妻がタバコを持ってたとしても不思議はないわ。
I think it's still at least a question mark.
あるいは喫煙マナーの悪い夫の捨てた吸い殻を拾っただけかもね。それがなんだっていうの？私の魔法とどう関係があるっていうの？
Yeah, in a situation where they're hunted by a mystery serial killer and having to do things fast, you know, to for the sake of their own lives, definitely Rudolph had time for a smoke break and Kirie had time to, clean up after him. That doesn't sound right.
何もありゃしない。
さらに言おう。こいつは親父の吸ってるタバコの銘柄と異なる。すまないがベアト、親父の遺体の懐を見てくれるか。
There we go, like what I was saying. Look at the others too. Put it in the context of what's happening with them as well.
これか。
銘柄を確認。吸い殻と銘柄が異なります。キリエが持っていた吸い殻は、ルドルフの吸うタバコの銘柄ではありません。
だからどうしたというの？キリエは綺麗好きのいい子だから、落ちてる吸い殻を許せず拾っただけかもしれないじゃない。私は嫌だけど。
ベアト、すまんがもう一人頼む。秀吉おじさんの懐だ。親族でタバコを吸うのは、親父と秀吉おじさんだけなんだ。
あったぞ、これか。
Beato found a cigarette box in Hideyoshi's pocket, took a single one out, and held it out.
銘柄を確認。吸い殻は、秀吉の吸うタバコの銘柄と認めます。
だからなんだというの？秀吉の吸い殻がキリエのポケットから見つかると、私の魔法がどう破られるっていうのよ！
そうさ。この吸い殻が、キリエさんのメッセージだ。いや、この吸い殻こそが、キリエさんがゲストハウスを離れた理由なんだ。ベアト、ありがとう。お前がこいつを見つけてくれなかったら、俺はここで屈していた。ワルギリア！状況を再構築！第2の番。ローザおばさんたちが殺されたことが発覚した後のゲストハウスだ！
了解。再構築します。ローザ、マリアの死亡後、残った生存者はゲストハウス内すべての戸締まりを再確認。バリケードを構築。牢城の結束を再確認。
何も不審なところなんかないじゃない。何が言いたいの？第4の番以降の話をしているのに、なんで第2の番の直後を蒸し返すのよ。
親父は携帯吸い殻入れを持ち歩いてる。キリエさんがわざわざ自分のポケットに吸い殻を入れる理由がようやく見えてきた。その吸い殻に意味があるからさ。その吸い殻こそがキリエさんが俺たちに残したメッセージだ。
聞こうじゃない。その吸い殻一本でどうやって私を否定してみせるというの？
聞いての通りだ。第2の番以降、ゲストハウスでは全ての部屋の点検が行われた。この時、キリエさんはあってはいけない場所にあってはいけないものを見つけたんだ。
あってはいけないものとは何なのか。
こいつさ、この吸い殻さ。こいつが秀吉おじさんのいた客室の灰皿に置かれていたんだ。
はあ？灰皿に吸い殻があってどうおかしいってのよ。
Is that supposed to be the room where he and Eva were? Or
おかしいのはあんたの頭の方じゃないの。
エヴァおばさんは大のタバコ嫌いだ。
Yeah. Okay. And she hated smoking and she was sick. So why would he smoke in the presence of his sick wife who didn't like smoking?
そのおばさんが体調を崩して寝込んでるのに、
Yep.
吸い殻があるわけがないんだ。
This was foreshadowed heavily in the very first scene of this episode's game board. I was so happy back then when I was able to remember. Yep. Yeah, I remember.
しかし
That was in the beginning.
灰皿には吸い殻があった。それを見たキリエさんはすぐに気づいたんだ。秀吉おじさんは嘘をついている。本当はエヴァおばさんは寝込んでなんかいなかった。部屋を抜け出していたんだと気づいたんだ。復唱要求。この吸い殻はエヴァおばさんたちが休んだ部屋の灰皿で揉み消された。
拒否するわ。
ようやく掴んだぜ。ありがとうよ、ベアト。
わらわは役に立てたのか。
ああ、そうさ。吐くぞ。俺たちでエセ魔女の化けの皮を剥いでやれ。
From that cigarette butt, Kiria realized that Hideyoshi was creating an alibi for Eva's sake. Hideyoshi had been tasked with watching over the room to create an alibi, And during that time, he had been unable to withstand the tension and had smoked. Then Kirie had disclosed that to Rudolph. She disclosed that there was a good chance that Eva was the culprit and Hideyoshi was an accomplice.
そしてキリエさんは食料を
Battle
取り
and
に行こう
battle.
と
Go.
提案。
Yeah.
そして秀吉おじさんにその手助けを頼む。これが意味するところはただ一つだ。キリエさんは秀吉おじさんを隔離して真相を問い詰めるつもりだったんだ。
ヘンペルのカラス、有効です。魔女側はこの一手を迎え撃てない限り、キリエを操ったと称する魔法の存在が否定されます。
なんですって？否定するわよ。とにかく否定するわよ。私じゃないわ。後ろ宮エヴァじゃないわ。エヴァは部屋で寝てたのよ。
ならば言ってみろ。ああ、言えやしないさ。今度だって言えやしないさ。副将要求。後ろ宮エヴァはその時部屋から一歩も出ていない。
なんなのよこれ。攻めていたのは私でしょ。なんで私が攻められる側になってるの？いつの間に攻守が逆転してるのよ。問い詰めてるのは私なのよ。この魔女である私がなぜに
繰り返す。副将要求。後ろ宮エヴァは部屋を出ていない。言えるわけがねえんだ。チェックメイトだ。
魔女側、受けてありませんか？
あるわけがない。虚実にて着飾った偽りの魔女に受けられる真実などありはしない。
本当の魔女、貴様に名乗る資格はない。貴様は黄金の魔女じゃない。貴様は人間。後ろ宮エヴァだ。
The witch roared. Her entire body was burned with the tremendous heat that denied her own witchcraft in existence, and she let out a roar like a dragon. Her body flickered repeatedly, flashing as Eva's figure and the witch's figure overlapped. However, the roar drowned out that flicker and made it return once more to the original form of the cruel-hearted witch.
いいわ。私のことを後ろ宮エヴァと呼びたければ呼べばいいのよ。そうよ。確かに私は後ろ宮エヴァが犯人であることに対する察し手のすべてを撃退することができない。私は黄金の魔女を引きずり下ろされ、今や後ろ宮エヴァと呼ばれているかもしれない。でもね、だからって魔法と魔女の存在が否定されたわけじゃない。私が今から教えてやるわ。私が後ろ宮エヴァなどではなく、人間などではなく、本当の魔女であることを今から教えてやるわ。見なさい。この赤き真実を。
Okay, Kirya's food question was just a warm-up. Sorry, magic deniers. Your puny efforts to explain everything with humans were entertaining, alright? Okay, one of my favorite mysteries of the entire VN is finally here. Okay, let's see. The witch clapped her hands and time advanced in the world of the game board. Top 10 Umineko scene coming up. Okay, I'm bracing myself. As they called Jessica's name, Battler and Eva ran up to the parlor. They were searching for Jessica because they had gone to the servant room, found Nanjo's corpse, and didn't know where Jessica was.
それがどうしたってんだ。何が言いたい？
まさか。まずい。
Beto went pale. That made it clear that the move the evil witch was about to make was bad enough to have such an effect on Beto.
今度こそ言い逃れのできぬ致命的な一手をあなたに。いいえ、あなたを応援するすべての人間どもにくれてやるわ。心して聞きなさい、私の一手を。
やめよ。その一手は。
ベアト、下がれ。俺は受けるぞ。来い、エセ魔女め。
ジェシカ負傷後、エヴァは常にバトラの監視下にあった。バトラは犯人でもなく共犯者でもない。よって、エヴァの完全なアリバイを証明できる。
何？
あんたを、人間を、絶対に逃れられぬ赤き結界にて封じて殺す。さらばだ人間どもよ。出口なき絶対の魔法密室にて永遠に眠るがいいわ。さあ、心して聞きなさい。赤き真実を。この島には19人以上の人間はいない。
Alright.
謎の怪人物が隠れていて犯行を、などという愚かしい考えは捨てなさい。でも、こういう言い方をすると、動物の犯人も疑えるわね。殺人を仕込んだオランウータンは人間にはカウントされてないなんて、へりくつを言われちゃかなわない。ならこう言い換えるわ。人間以外の生命は一切、このゲームに関係がない。
Alright.
というわけで、次に、この島に存在する18人の状況をすべて説明するわ。金蔵は死亡している。クラウスは死亡している。夏日は死亡している。秀吉は死亡している。ジョージは死亡している。ルドルフは死亡している。キリエは死亡している。ローザは死亡している。マリアは死亡している。ゲンジは死亡している。シャノンは死亡している。
Rip seagulls. Okay. The order in which she's listing them is confusing me, but okay. Kinzo, Kraus, and Natsuhi, Hideyoshi, George, Rudolph, Kirie, Rosa Maria, Genji, Shannon.
カノンは死亡している。
Okay.
ゴーダは死亡している。熊沢は死亡している。南條は死亡している。以上、15人は死亡。そして、バトラは生存している。エヴァは生存している。ジェシカは生存している。これで18人全員。よって、最後の犠牲者である南條の死亡時、バトラとエヴァとジェシカの3人だけが生きていたことはわかるわよね。
なんだと。貴様、まさか。
No witches, just seagulls killing everyone. Yeah. They were upset because Jessica tried to eat them, so now they're seeking revenge. That's exactly what it is.
エヴァはあなたとずっと一緒にいたわ。だから犯行は不可能。もちろんバトラ君は犯人じゃないわ。アリバイ偽装なんてしてないし、彼女が犯人の可能性も考慮していたから、その行動は用心深く見張ってた。
Famous net of red truth. Yeah, right.
彼女には不審なことをできるあらゆる可能性が存在しなかった。つまり、犯行時の使用人室には南條とジェシカしかいなかったのよ。となると読めてるわよ。
Well, it's fine. I understood what you meant.
あなたの一手はこうよね。ジェシカが犯人の可能性もあると。
I am not sure. Wait. Give me a second. Why is it? I want to see the human side, please. Thank you. Remind me. Corpse discovered in the hallway outside the servant room in the mansion. The murder weapon is assumed to be a gun or spear-shaped object. One last push and he too would probably have been home free, but at the last possible moment she did not permit him that. Okay.
しかし残念ね。先に赤で叩き切ってあげるわよ。後ろ宮ジェシカは殺人を犯していない。南條殺しに関わっていない。彼女の目は完全に塞がれている。その彼女に殺人を行うことは不可能よ。さらにおまけしてあげるわ。エヴァとバトラも南條を殺していないし、関わってもいない。
ちょっと待ちやがれそれじゃおかしいじゃねえか。3人しか人間がいなくて、それで殺人が起こって、その3人が関わってないなんて。
はっきり断言してあげるわ。南條を殺した犯人はバトラでもエヴァでもジェシカでもない。つまり生存者の中にはいないということよね。お分かり？
いや、そうだ、二重人格とかどうだ？
Okay, you go to multiple personalities first? Come on, Battler! You have a good moment and then you have one of these.
もともとお前がエヴァおばさんのもう一つの人格であったように、例えばジェシカにもう一つの魔女的人格があって。
These red streets are interesting because she's justifying them even though she doesn't need to. Battler can't be the culprit and he was watching Eva the whole time, so she couldn't have killed Nanjo either. Jessica was blinded, so she couldn't do it either. Yeah... Okay, let's see where they go with this, and maybe I interject my own feelings a bit later.
それがジェシカ以外を名乗って南條先生を殺したとか。
Yeah, Battler is going a little bit too, like, over the hills. It's something that we would say in Romanian, that it's going a bit too far.
すでに赤で語っているわ。ジェシカの目は完全に塞がれていて、彼女に殺人は不可能。
The thing is, I feel left in the dark because what we have to go with in terms of Nanjo's murder is just the scene that we had last time, where it was all like presented in the witch-like way that Evatrice was torturing him and whatever. But I don't remember there having been like a proper inspection of the body or the surroundings or getting any sort of hint of what could have happened and stuff like that. I feel like what she is saying is that none of the people who were left alive were actively involved in the way that Nanjo died, and she is trying to use that to imply that then it must have been her as a witch doing it, because there's no other possibility. But we can also decouple ourselves a little bit from this thought of like, if there's a murder, it must have happened at the exact time that it happened and been activated, let's say, by a human. But we're doing that in absence of, you know, seeing what the heck even happened to Nanjo and investigating a little bit and getting some clues. Also, at this moment in time when, because I've been wondering this whole time, what am I supposed to make of scenes that show characters doing something, right? Because we've been presented of like stuff happening with other characters, Evatrice torturing them or whatever, doing her thing, and then in parallel we were shown scenes of Eva and Hideyoshi being in the room and Hideyoshi holding her hand and, you know, being all sweet and whatever. But like, what am I supposed to do with that? Am I supposed to take it as truth that at the time the thing was happening, Eva was there? Am I supposed to doubt it? Is it possible that we're shown something like that and it's just completely bollocks? So that also creates a little bit of confusion now, because I would have to go back, at least for me, I would have to go back and decide, okay, can I discard this? Can I take this? Can I... okay, that's a little bit too much for my brain and I don't really want to do it. But at the same time, I feel like maybe it's just me, but my approach would be to just inspect things and try to take it methodically, step by step. Even if now it seems that Evatrice is bombarding us with all of these red truths to kind of like force us into a check position, let's say, and completely block us and, you know, give this sensation that there's no other way. But there has to be another way, as long as you look at things. Because look what happened with Kiria just earlier. Like, it was what, like 10 minutes ago? That it seemed impossible, but then we looked at things and then we found a way. So just, you know, do that. I guess this maybe comes from, it's like an occupational thing, because I'm constantly presented with issues and I'm like, I have no idea how to do this or how to fix this. But I'm just gonna sit down and debug this line by line and see what this code is supposed to do, and at some point I'm gonna end up on the point that, or like on the part of the code that does the thing that it's not supposed to do, and then I fix it. Like, I had no idea that it would be there. I didn't know if I would find it when I set out to do it, but in the end I always do find it. So can we like not despair immediately, please? I'm supposed to see it with love, obviously. I still don't understand what that means. No cigarette butt can get you out of this one battle. Yeah, okay, that was quite... It was a cool thing, but see, this is something that we as readers couldn't have put together fully because we needed all of the details that they provided along the way, and then, you know, the brand was different and so on, and things connecting there. So yeah, just have a look at the crime scene first before despairing. That's all I'm saying. They really want this to be a genuine challenge. I've seen only very few people manage to solve it. Alright, props to those people. I will not be one of them, likely. Okay, and then we have something that I'm not supposed to read. So, okay. I think I'm caught up with chat. I also feel like she's having a case of the other Beatrice where she is overplaying this. She's going so hard at it because she's like, haha, I will lock you. And I think that's when you need to flip the chessboard and be like, let's see, why is she pushing us in this direction? And what exactly does she want us to take from here that would make us think that we're blocked? But very likely we aren't. Very likely there is another thing, but by her throwing so much at us, it kind of like hijacks our minds and make us think only in a like limited particular direction. I personally submitted to Eva this scene. Okay, let's see what happens.
彼女にどんな人格が憑依しようとも、彼女の肉体では殺人を行えないの。
Okay, sure. It was not carried out with her body.
それとも、こう言えば満足するかしら。ジェシカの体が起こしたいかなる動作も、南條の殺人には関係影響しない。
I'm not suspecting Jessica.
この適用をバトラとエヴァにも広げるわ。つまり、どうあがこうが解釈しようが、ジェシカとバトラとエヴァは南條を殺した犯人ではない。
But I mean, look, one of the first things that comes to my mind, it's very, like, raw, and I don't have substance to support it unless they, you know, go look for more details and give them to me, please, is that maybe some sort of thing could have been set up and Nanjo walked into some sort of trap, and it wasn't set up by Eva, maybe it was set up by Hideyoshi, who is dead, right? So then all of the red truths apply, and then Nanjo still got killed, and it's still not the fault of the people who are left alive. Who the fuck knows, you know? But it is a direction. Maybe it's not this. Likely it's not this. Why would it be? Because it's my idea, and obviously my ideas are not there. But, you know, like just try to find a way and don't get stuck, please. Desolate, you believe too much in me. Really, I don't know if I have it in me.
ふざけるな。だって他はもう全員確実に死んでるじゃねえかよ。ならあとは残るのは南條先生の自殺説だけじゃねえか。あとトラップ説。犯人はすでに死亡しているが過去に仕掛けておいたトラップが発動して。
南條は他殺よ。
Okay.
もちろんトラップではなく直接的な殺害方法よ。
Okay, there it is. Fine.
凶器を構え、それにて真正面の至近距離から殺した。犯人は南條の目の前に堂々と現れ、そして互いに顔を見合わせながら殺害したのだ。
Okay. She is showering us with details. I would want to take these details and turn them against her, please. Can we do that? A direct method of murder, not a trap. They readied their weapon, killed him with it directly from the front at point-blank range. Culprit appeared openly before Nanjo's eyes, and as they both looked at each other's faces, the culprit killed him.
だから待てよ。生存者は3人しかいない。それ以外は全員死んでることはお前が赤で語ってる。つまり18人全員の生死が確定してる。しかも19人目は存在しないとあらかじめ赤で否定済みだ。つまり生存者3人以外には存在できない。なのにその3人以外の4人目が南條先生の前に現れてる。19人目は存在しないのにどうして俺たち以外の人間が現れて南條先生を殺害できるんだ。おかしい。お前は嘘をついている。赤字で嘘をついている。
赤は真実のみを語る。それを疑うことはすなわち貴様の後ろで私に怯え萎縮しその背に隠れるその魔女の名誉を裏切ることになるわよ。
Ay, 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 Beato, what have you done to us? Oh, wrong button, my bad.
くそ。
No, I doubt it. I don't feel it. I just feel like this is, well, the way we Romanians would say it, sand in your eyes, just to make you, haha, look, like, maybe not.
はっきりと今こそ言い切るわ。
Just because she's so overeager and so overzealous, and I don't feel convinced.
南條の前に現れし私こそ。
Yeah, say that in red. Hmm?
魔女なのよ。
Hmm?
18人の人間では説明できない黄金の魔女なのよ。
ワルギリア、ロドウェ、状況は矛盾していないのか。奴は本当に赤で真実を語っているのか。
はい、赤き真実有効です。
なんという緻密かつ精密な爪。
こいつをどう手を打ちゃいいんだ。ワルギリア、何か手はないのか。
私には何も思いつきません。
ロドウェア。
申し訳ありません。しかしこの1000年これほどまでに精密なる美しい盤面を見たのは初めてです。
悔しいですが美しい。なんて美しい赤によるチェックメイト。
You can see me, but I'm rolling my eyes so hard. Concept of life and death is meaningless to Golden Witch. Right? The witch's master and the demon butler were both stunned, and a somehow rapturous expression rose to their faces. Forget surrendering. They were simply impressed at this perfect checkmate, which could only be admired. When people accept defeat from the bottom of their heart, it gives rise to neither regret nor humiliation. Nothing is born except feelings of respect. I no longer knew what was what anymore. There were absolutely no weak points in her red. It looks as if there are no weak points. I am not angry at Butler. She has said in red that all 15 people had died. She has said in red that no people existed other than the 18. In other words, no more than 3 people, me, Jessica, and Auntie Eva, existed. And even though none of those 3 people were the culprit, Dr. Nanjo was killed. And without a doubt, Dr. Nanjo's death was a homicide murdered by that person openly from the front. Battler's anti-magic resistance is nothing compared to this. What do you mean? That mine is stronger or what? And she claims that person is a witch.
南條を殺した犯人は動物などの類ではないわよ。それはすでに赤で宣言済みよ。人間以外は一切考慮から外しなさい。ロボットなんかもダメよ。人間以外の一切の要素はこのゲーム版に関与しない。
Oh, this line. Oh, that's so sweet. Absolutely no factors other than humans participate in this game board. See, I don't know what to do with something like this, because you're telling me all of these things that is insisting there's just humans, only humans, only humans, only humans, but then you are inserting yourself as another factor being a witch. Aren't you denying yourself? I've been wondering this from the beginning, and this is one of the more egregious examples of it. I learned to say things. It's just... Like, what am I supposed... I'm looking at this sentence and I'm just... Absolutely no factors other than humans participate in this game. Well, then there's no witches either, right? Because if the witch were real, wouldn't that be a factor too? What am I doing? A witch is human with magic? Ugh. But then, what is the purpose of all of this? Because the entire debate and game is built around the witch side having to argue that witches are real, and the human side having to argue that no, actually, this could have been achieved by a human. But now a witch is a human, and how... Also, hi, small blue gem.
ゆえにこうも言えるわね。南條を殺したのは確かに人間である。
Okay, so then it wasn't you because you're the witch, right? Aren't we forgetting a little bit the purpose of this? Because the purpose is to prove that witches exist. But now the witch is giving us arguments about how everything was achieved by a human. And so, yeah, okay. Fine. I don't know how to explain Nanjo's death, but is it really relevant anymore after all of these? I don't know. Eva Patricia seems to have forgotten the whole premise. I mean, right? The purpose is to throw insane logic puzzles at each other until someone cries.
地に足のついた人間が凶器をかざし、それにて殺した。
But then it wasn't you, right?
眼前にて。ただし、その人間は魔法が使えたかもしれないわ。
I can't take this. Yeah, so she says all of these things. It's the same. It's the same as Beatrice was doing in the beginning, but like just, you know, pumped up to 1,000 or something, or 1,000,000. It says things in red, and then it's like, but of course, it could have been with magic. In white. What do you want me to do with that? Yeah, here's where we are. Here's where we are.
それはすなわち魔女だったということ。
I am rolling, but I have to say something to kind of like diffuse things within myself, I guess, because I'm obviously quite overwhelmed by all of it myself.
それがつまり、この私、黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。
No, I will not accept you for the sheer fact that you're being so overzealous about it and throwing and bombarding us with all of these things. I'm like, nope. No. You're just trying to lead us astray. I will not fall for it. I do not have a concrete answer about what exactly it was to explain it from the human side fully. Right, okay. I would need more details for that, and I would need to there actually to be an inspection of the crime scene, you know, like before, to have information if I were to set out on that journey, although I don't particularly feel like sitting down and trying to analyze it by myself. I would just like to roll with it. But for the sheer fact that she's just having this attitude about it, I'm like, no, I'm out. Can't convince me. So long as you never give up. Okay, I'm not giving up. I remember someone playing this game and reaching the sea and losing his mind after trying desperately to solve this mystery. Eva broke that. She definitely has not that power over me. I will not break. Even as Battler ground his teeth, his knees hit the floor with a thud. Come on, Battler, no. Pull yourself together, man. His soul still refused to submit. However, his knees had already started to accept submission. Please, no, let's not get there again. I really did not like it last time. Yeah.
そうよ。あなたはもう理解し始めている。黄金の魔女が存在することを。そして、その黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェが私であることを。さあ、称えなさい。本当の魔女の復活を今こそ称えなさい。黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェの復活を今こそ称えなさい。第9の晩に魔女は蘇り、誰も生き残れはしない。
くそー、俺にはわからねえ。ここまで徹底的に赤でがんじがらめにされたら、俺にはもうさっぱりだ。
バトラ、くじけるな。わらわとそなたは再び戦い合う約束を交わしたではないか。ここでそなたは屈服するのか。わらわと再び戦う前にこのようなところで消え去るのか。
その約束を破りたくはねえ。しかし俺には奴を否定する手が全く思いつかねえ。これはそもそも問題にさえなってない。容疑者以外は存在せず、その容疑者は全員白。赤で白だって言われてんだぜ。それでいてしっかり他殺で犯人は人間でちゃんと目の前に現れて南條先生を殺したという。もうお手上げだ。どうにもならねえ。
頼むバトラー、諦めるな、くじけるな。思考を止めれば自動的にそなたの負けとなる。頼むから くじけるな。わらわも応援しておる。負けたりするな。
もう何も思いつかねえんだ。どうせあいつは魔女だから魔法とかでやったに違いない。考えるだけ無駄だぜって思っちまう。ダメだ。頭が痛い。脳が疲れる。考えたって無駄だからやめちまえって。
バトラー、聞け。チェスというゲームは相手を任そうと互いが尽くすから一回のゲームに長い時間をかける。しかしどちらかが最初から勝ちを捨て自分に損な手を進んでさせばあっという間にゲームを終えるのだ。これをフールズメイトという。
A fool's mate is, simply put, a strange way of playing chess, with the mind to lose as soon as possible. Opening the area in front of your own king and inviting the opponent's queen in. Chess, in which the average playing time for a single game may stretch for several hours, can be resolved in a scant 4 moves. In other words, if both sides try to win in a fight, they are compelled to take a painfully long period of time. But if one side decides to lose, they can end the game all too easily at any time. I cannot believe we're having Beatrice give Battler a pep talk. Like, good God, man, get a grip.
人間側は思考を停止させることによって目の前の問題を魔女に譲り渡し、木からリンゴが落ちることさえ直ちに魔法の仕業ということで決着できてしまう。そしてそれは魔女側も同じことだ。魔女は赤き真実を使う。それにて魔法の正体が人間で説明できてしまうことを示せば直ちに敗北することができる。
言われなくても分かってるさ。考えを止めるなって言うんだろう。しかしあいつのあの完璧な真っ赤な手にどうやって反撃すればいいんだ。
You tease it apart bit by bit. That's how you do it. Like I said, it's probably an occupational thing. Because I do that all day, every day. And I always start with like this thing of like, am I ever even gonna make it? It works out in the end. Especially if it's teamwork. Which we seem to have on our side. We have a team. So, come on, guys!
俺には人間にはもう無理だ。
無理か。バトラには無理なのか。頼む。くじけるな。
シューマン、俺にはもう無理だ。
Do we ever get to a point where he no longer crumbles like this? Please. I understand that he cannot be perfectly strong and adept at this game from the very beginning, and it's like character development and growth and all of that, but can we get to a point where he no longer does this so easily? Come on. If you want to do it after you have expended all options available to you, after you've done everything that you can possibly think of. Not now. He just got mega giga wrecked. It's understandable. This is the thing, I don't see it that way. I just see that Beatrice was being obnoxious and threw a bunch of things at him, and he's like, oh, well, this on the surface looks impossible. I'm gonna crumble now. No. On the surface it may look that way, but how many situations we've had so far that were the same, and then we managed to figure it out. So... no, I'm not telling him to just solve it either, because I don't think it's that easy. What I'm trying to get at is that you should still try even when it seems impossible. Like, you miss all of the shots you never take, kind of thing. Just try. See where it leads you. I don't think he has tried so far. He was just faced with the red truth was overwhelmed. He was like, oh, all of these possibilities have been rejected by the red truth, then I have nothing, then I'm gonna crumble. Like, no. Check out for witches at your work. Maybe there are some witch bugs. No. No. I have enough experience under my belt to know all of the bugs were created by humans, and this is a philosophy that I apply every day, every time there's a problem. This was made by humans, therefore it can be identified and fixed also by humans. There's nothing mystical going on, there's just layers upon layers of things that we have never seen before, and we just have to sit down and get familiar with them. And at some point in that getting familiar with them, we will find things, we will learn more about them, and then we will understand, oh, this does this and this other thing does that, and when they interact together, this thing happens, which, in this particular corner case, is not actually what we would want it to do. Oh, light bulb moment, you know? And that's how you get there. Battler likes to cry like the seagulls. I feel like Battler then would like to impersonate the seagulls, because seagulls haven't cried yet. The sea cats cry. But can you prove that it was made by humans? Yes. Because every single line of code has a name attached to it by whom it was written at some point in time. Maybe it was like a long time ago and we don't remember that area of the project or whatever. Every single line of code has assigned to it the name of the person who wrote it. It was a human. Of course, that doesn't mean the human is to blame. They wrote it in a particular context, trying to follow certain requirements and so on, and then maybe as the things evolved and the components started to, you know, communicate maybe with other components, some things were not taken into consideration, and now we have a bit of a mess on our table that we have to tease out and figure what to do about it. Yeah, that might look a little bit mystical when you see it, like, what the heck is it doing this? It's not supposed to. But then when you tease it apart and figure out where it's coming from, it makes perfect sense. Oh, of course it does this. That's always the case. Always. I have never ever had anything happen that looked quite mystical in the beginning, and in the end we didn't figure it out. It's all about persistence and sticking to it. So I would want to see more of that from Battler. Please, Battler, let's do it. Battler might be in a situation where he has to flip his entire perspective. Oh, you mean in game? Okay, sure. He has to flip his entire perspective. If they don't, sorry for putting words in your mouth. No, don't worry. It's okay. I explained it in one way, and we can also switch back to the game, which of course we should, because I went into too deep of a parenthesis on the side. I guess this needs to happen. Situations like these need to happen in the novel to force Battler to not get stuck and look for different avenues, switch his perspective and so on. I just feel that we've had quite a bunch of them already, and I would just want him to not be so easy to demoralize. Because he was instantly demoralized here. Let's be frank. Just, like, yeah. I think Maria has the right attitude. Let others worry about silly logic things. Yeah. Battler scratched at the floor, crying heavily. Beata watched that with a distressed face. Then she stood up and spoke to the witch.
わらわがそなたの手に反撃の一手を刺そうぞ。
Oh, the music again. Oh, I love it so much.
この完璧なるチェックメイトにあなたはどう切り込んでくれるというのかしら。人間には決して破ることのできないこのチェックメイトをあなたごときがどう破るというの？
ベアトリーチェ、あなたまさか。
人間にさせぬ一手ならわらわが 魔女であるがゆえにさせる一手で。
魔女であるがゆえにさせる一手。お前、何をする気だ？
わらわが魔女を否定する。
Hey?
ベアトリーチェ。
お嬢様。
What is happening? The master and the butler were both startled. I also immediately understood what it meant. To use the red that only witches could use. To use the red to deny witches. It was like using her own sword to slit her own throat.
はあんた、何を言ってるの？赤で魔女を否定？バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。そんなことしたら、あんたも無事じゃ済まないわよ。
そなたは魔女にあらず、そしてわらわもまた魔女ではない。真の魔女への道は険しく、まだまだ長い。なれば好都合、今この場にもとより魔女など存在はしないのだ。わらわが自らそのまやかしを剥ぎ取ってやろうぞ。
私もあんたもしっかり堂々とした魔女でしょうが、赤が使えることこそ魔女の証。あんたにとって魔女の定義がどういうものか知らないけど、あんただけは無傷で済むなんて勘違いをしているなら今すぐ。
勘違いなどしているものか。それでよいのだ。
ですって。
わらわはもとより魔女になど慣れていなかった。真の魔女になるためにようやくその道のりを歩き始めたに過ぎ。もし今のわらわが魔女だというのなら、それは力に溺れただけに、そなたに同じ偽りの魔女に過ぎぬ。そのようなみすぼらしい姿なら未練などない。そなたもろともわらわのこの姿も消し去ってくれようぞ。
正気、やめなさい。私はまだ魔女でいたいのよ。人間は嫌なのよ。
魔女様、どうかご着席を。人間側の受け手をどうかご着席の上。
何をするの？離して。その女に赤を使わせないで。やめさせて。離せ。
As the witch stood from her seat and tried to spring upon battle, Ronoe pressed down on both of her shoulders, forcing her back into her seat. And even after that, he didn't remove his hands from those shoulders. Denying witches was the same thing as denying magic. That included demons, such as Ronoe. However, instead of running away, Ronoe chose to act as the facilitator for the game, and to carry out that duty for his master's sake.
ベアトリーチェ、後悔はないのですね。
お師匠様こそごめん。いっぱい楽しい魔法や幸せな魔法を教えてもらったのに、全然上手に使えなかった。だからゼロから修行やり直してくる。そのバカ弟子の不始末に巻き込んで本当にすまなかった。
良き弟子よ、最後にもてました。あなたの信じるままにお行きなさい。
お前らが何の話をしてるのか。だがこれだけはわかる。そして言える。ベアト、何をしようとしてるのか知らねえが、これからやろうとしていることをやめろ。
そなたに手はない。しかしわらわに手はある。この一手逃せばあやつは魔女として真の意味で復活し、今度こそこの島の全てを支配する。全ての悪夢はあの女の自由自在となり、この島は永遠に邪悪なる魔女の妄想を繰り返す無限地獄に落ちるだろう。そなたはそれを許せるというのか。親しい家族たちも永遠にあの魔女の悪夢にもてあそばれてもよいと。
だが お前が犠牲になることなんてないだろ。これは俺と奴のゲームだ。お前が身を犠牲にして手を刺すことなんてない。俺が考える。起死回生の一手を必ず考えるから。
Oh, now you're motivated.
だから早まるな。ちくしょう。絶対に思いつくから。だから早まるんじゃねえ。
このゲームは残酷であるぞ。すでにそなたの兆候に制限時間を使い切っておるわ。もはやわらわしかおらぬ。安心せよバトラ。わらわが撃つあの残酷なる魔女をわらわが自らの手で撃つ。
待てベアト。やめろよせ。お前が自分を犠牲にする必要なんて何もない。
わらわを否定するためにそなたは戦っていたのだろうが、おかしなやつだ。
Last we remember you were also fighting to prove yourself, so... Laugh at
あの子
yourself.
を好きにさせてあげてください。そしてどうか見届けてやってください。
しかし
バトラー、一つだけ頼みがある。耳を塞いでくれぬか。
へ？
耳をどうして。
わらわはこれより赤にて魔女を否定するあやつの赤で敷き詰めた盤面を切り裂いてみせる。さすればわらわもまた魔女の姿を失うだろう。そなたもわらわが語る赤き真実を聞けばわらわの正体を理解することになる。そなた一人が耳を塞いだところで真実は何も変わらん。だがそれでもそなたにそなたの前だけでは魔女でいたいのだ。頼む。
ベアトリーチェ様、魔女側問題ありません。どうぞ察してよ。
離せ。あんたもただじゃ済まないのよ。あいつおかしいわ。私たちを巻き込んで自分も死ぬ気よ。やめて。否定しないで。やめて。
仮にも黄金の魔女が見苦しいぞ。さあよいか。バトラの代わりにそなたのチェックメイトを外す。15人が死に3人しか残らぬチェス盤にて何が起こったのか、わらわがこれより赤にて暴く。その赤き真実にて偽りの魔女2人を共に貫いて殺す。
Beato turned around and smiled at Battler. Most likely, no one would believe that the witch who had gone to the limits of cruelty would try to leave a smile as the last expression she showed Battler. And that smile signified her last wish, that she wanted him to cover his ears. Denying witches in red was the same as knowing her shabby form. Battler put both of his hands against his ears. To protect her final honor as a witch, he put his hands against his ears, rejecting the truth. And he howled, so that not even a bit of what she was saying would slip into his ears. After that was a world where Battler could not hear anything. Beato was saying something with red. Even the evil witch attempted to cover her ears at their bitter contents. That was the red truth. Words of power. Words that denied her own existence. Words that only witches could use, the only words capable of denying witches. Beato talked. With the red truth, she sliced apart the bright red game board that the witch had released. She explained difficult problems that could not be solved by humans, with moves that could only be solved by witches, and began cornering the witch. The truth that Battler was not permitted to hear. If Battler had broken his promise and sneakily listened in an instant Battler would probably have been able to become the victor in his game with Beto. He would probably have understood all of the riddles on the island, all of the magic and tricks, locked rooms, spells, curses, legends, and the entire tale of anger and sadness. However, Battler would only learn what that was when he reached the truth by himself. Yes, from the beginning, Beatrice had wished that Battler would reach that truth by himself. It was something that shouldn't be reached by being told. It was a truth that Battler would have to drag himself to with his own power. A brilliant light gathered with Beato and the evil witch at the center and grew gradually stronger. It was the power of truth. A heat and brilliance like the sun shone on all of the falsehoods that hid in the darkness, trying to deceive, and burnt them to nothing.
なぜあんたは死ねるの？こんなすごい力を持ち得ながらどうして命を捨てられるの？黄金も魔法も全てを自在に操れる力を持つあんたがどうしてそれをあっさりと投げ出せるの？
山をなす黄金であろうと海を裂く魔法であろうと手に入らぬものがあることを知れ。さあ姿を現すがいいぞ。その正体を表せ。後ろ宮エヴァ。
When the sun exploded and blew everything away, Eva could be seen there holding a gun.
あんたが犯人なんだ。
Battler when Beato talks in spoilers. Nope, not listening.
エヴァおばさん。
Yeah.
気づくのが遅いわよ、バトラ君。
Can I also take the moment here to interject? I meant to say it earlier, but I felt like it was a little bit out of context. Can we appreciate that this was the first time that Battler was willing to accuse a human? Big step there, though. Regardless of how it turned out. Even if he didn't manage to, you know, argue it up until the very end or whatever. It's the first time. Yeah. He has grown indeed. Without any hesitation or mercy, Eva raised the gun and pulled the trigger. An explosion resounded and Battler fell to the floor, his heart shot through. After going into convulsions for a short time with blood dripping from his mouth, Battler died. But in his last moments he understood without a doubt that she was a murderer. And not just for killing him. There are several murders where I don't have a clue how they were carried out. However, while my ears were covered, Beto exposed all of them with the red blasting away all magic. In other words, even though I didn't understand it, had that been nothing more or less than proof that all magic can be explained with humans. Beato made me cover my ears, so I myself don't know the whole truth. However, from the fact that she managed to deny it in red, I learned one fact which is extremely unfair for us. Namely, it is possible to deny all magic. So in other words, no. I must not think of that. If I do, then the time I covered my ears would be made pointless. If I'm going to regret, I can only regret my own actions. If at that time I had thought of some turnabout move to counter the witch's final play, there would have been no need for Beato to sacrifice herself. I brought about this conclusion because I was worthless. even though it was a pitch-black world where nothing could be seen. For some reason, I felt Beto's presence right next to me. So I tried calling out to her. You can exchange words with someone whether they're human or a witch. So even in a world where witches have been denied, I should be allowed to talk to her.
ベアト。
バトラか。やったぞ。わらわ。やった。
ああ。聞こえはしなかったが、俺はお前の姿を最後まで見ていたぜ。お前が邪悪な魔女に毅然と立ち向かうところをちゃんと見てたぜ。
これでもうわらわは魔女ではない。だが必ずわらわは再び魔女になるぞ。そして再び黄金の魔女と呼ばれるに至って再びそなたの対戦相手だと認められに帰ってくるから。
いや、お前は魔女だったぜ。俺は見てたぜ。お前があの邪悪な魔女をすっげえ魔法で吹き飛ばしてその正体を暴き出すところを俺はちゃんとこの目で見ていたぜ。
あれは魔法ではなく赤。
いや、魔法だったぜ。お前は確かに黄金の魔女だった。お前自らが否定しようとも俺が認めてやるよ。お前は確かに黄金の魔女だ。
When Battler said those words, in the world that had been dark, there was suddenly a single grain, a small grain of gold, like a wheat seed, shone brightly. Even though it was small, it had a strong gold-colored glow. And it illuminated the two of them sitting with their backs together. So they each became aware of their own form. They did not exist only as consciousness. They became aware that they had bodies, and definitely existed. No, maybe we should say that they each had been given an existence called a body. When Battler looked at his own form, he wasn't that surprised. But when Beata looked at her own form, she was a little startled. From Battler's perspective, she looked just like normal. But for a short while, she was surprised by that form.
これはどういうことなのか。
あの光の粒の輝きがどんどん強くなる。
That grain of wheat was no longer simply gold-colored, but it was like the light of the sun. Then it softly began to approach Beato's chest. When that grain of the sun was sucked inside her chest. The world became wrapped in a deep blue sky, and then a deep blue ocean spread out below them. An island rose up, trees sprouted and created a forest, walls surrounded us, and the ceiling swallowed us. And it became adorned with more and more things until we realized that this was the hall in the Ushiromiya mansion. In that fantastical hall where many gold butterflies beat their wings, many tables were set up with white tablecloths like it was a party, and beautiful cooking and fruits were set out. And over there were a great many figures. Everyone was there talking together and smiling.
みんな
There was Dad and Kirie-san, Uncle Kraus, Auntie Natsuki and Auntie Rosa, and of course even Auntie Eva and Uncle Hideyoshi. George, Aniki, Jessica, Maria. Wait, even Shannon-chan, Kanon-kun. Sorry, I went a little bit fast there with the clicking. Shannon-chan, Kanon-kun, Goda-san and Kumasawa-san are here. Everyone was at the party, clapping their hands and celebrating our return.
どうしてだ？みんな死んだのに、どうして生きてるんだ？
黄金鏡では全ての死者の魂を蘇らせることができるのです。お帰りなさい、ベアトリーチェ。そしてようこそ、バトラ君。黄金鏡へようこそ。
わらわは至ったのか。黄金鏡への扉に至ったのか。
はい、お嬢様はついに全員を黄金鏡へお招きできたのです。ようこそバトラ様、黄金鏡へ。
バトラ、ようやくここへたどり着いたか。
じいさま、俺は一体。
お前はわしの魔法と相入れぬ血を最も濃く受け継いでしまったのだ。故にこの黄金鏡にお前だけがたどり着けず、ずっとベアトリーチェはそなたを探していたのだ。そなたをここへ連れてくるためにあらゆる手を尽くしておった。
なんだって。
これでようやく全員が揃いましたな。
さあ、バトラ様もお席へ。今宵の料理はこの5打目の最高傑作を尽くしました。どうかぜひご賞味ください。
あんた光栄に思いなさいよね。本当は私が全部食べるところ、お情けであんたらの分も残してあげてるんだからね。
7クイーン姉ちゃんたち。
Seven steak babes.
黄金鏡では意志ある者すべてが公平だ。ここで我ら家具とて人間とて魔女とて区別はない。
バトラ様、お待ちしておりました。そしてようこそ黄金鏡へ。
シャノちゃん、長司の兄貴。
僕もまだこれが夢じゃないかと疑ってるよ。僕たちは死んだはず。でも生きてる。そして全員が全員ここにいて幸せなんだ。
I'm silent because this gives me so many creepy vibes that forget about all the atrocious murders that we've been going through. We're in the Golden Land and everyone is alive again. It's like nothing happened. I'm like, no. Hate hostages, thank you, I guess. I don't know what's happening.
信じられない。
I can't just
そうよ。
absorb it.
どうせここは夢の中の世界なのよ。だからジョージがメイドの女と仲良くしたって、どうせ夢なんだから。
Okay, Eva.
予算か、エヴァ。今は黙って若い二人を祝福せなあかん。黄金鏡は至福の都や。
Finally,
ここで
Golden
は
Land.
いがみ合いは一切
yeah.
なしやで。
ここでは愛し合う者たちは全てが自由。
Ah, alright. Thanks for joining along. Welcome. Golden Land fans. I can't tell if this is something to be a fan of yet. I apologize.
誰にもはばかられることはない。ジェシカちゃん、カノン君素敵。焼けちゃうわ。
よう、バトラ。なんだかその。
It might seem creepy, but the Golden Land seems to be a very beautiful place.
バトラ様、ようこそ。
I can't draw the same conclusion. I'm
そ
sorry.
して、お帰りなさいませ。
Everyone loves the Golden Land. Why? Jessica was probably embarrassed because she was holding hands with Kanon-kun. And Kanon-kun wanted to act humbly like a servant and bow. But since neither of them could let go of the other's hand, he couldn't do it so well, and the whole scene looked fairly comical.
使用人のことなんてダメです。うちのジェシカをやれるわけありません。
いいじゃないかね。好きな相手くらい
自由に選ばせてやるといい。
ダメですダメですジェシカ
Seems like the Golden Land is not a fairy tale for everybody.
うちもダメなのよジョージ
Poor Natsuki. As Aunt Natsuki and Auntie Eva hugged each other, they cried tears of regret for their darling children. Even though they had always been at odds, it was a very bizarre scene.
いいじゃないですか。誰が誰を好きになったって。
そうよ。親が子離れしてない証拠ね。
バトラー、俺はお前がどんな女を連れ帰っても生温かく受け入れてやるからな。
Thank you, Rudolph.
この人に紹介しちゃダメよ。すぐ手を出すから。とっとと駆け落ちしちゃうのよ。
バトラー、やっとここへ来た。
マリア、お前は最初からここへ来ることになると。
The wise Maria was right all along.
だからマリアは何も怖くなかった。みんなは臆病でビクビク。面白かった。
なんてこった。一番ずれてると思ってたお前が実は最初から真相を知ってたなんてな。
I wouldn't be so fast to jump on that. Oh, this was the truth in the end. It's also nice. Why were we even worried about? We were worried about people just getting brutally murdered. You know, like, can we not completely shove aside the gravity and importance of the situation?
無礼です。マリア卿に対してそのような口の利き方、とても許せません。射撃曲線形成、攻撃準備よし。マリア卿、いつでも攻撃できます。にひ
お静かに。ベアトリーチェ様の御前です。
Lady Maria, yeah.
まあ固いことを言わずに、今ははしゃいで喜び合いたい気持ちを察しましょう。それより乾杯の準備を始めようではありませんか。
There's toast, alright.
さあさあ、自慢のサバ料理の準備は十分ですよ。
Thank you, Kumasawa.
いつでも配膳できますよ。
Exactly what we were missing.
ほらみんな少しはかぐらしく働きなさいよ。やだもっとつまみ食いするの
さあ働こう。お客人方を待たせるな。私たちはあくせく働き奉仕をしよう。お客人たちに何もさせるな。武将にさせて怠惰にさせてコロコロと豚のように肥えさせろ。
Okay, I don't like where this is going. Somehow I'm getting a mix of Spirited Away vibes, plus what happened in the previous banquet that we visualized, where all of the, like, that we witnessed, better said, that we, you know, had some development about, where all of the goat people and other things came along and started eating Kinzo and whatever. So, okay. In my opinion, the gravity was lost after everyone already died more than once each game. It made me feel very happy this scene at least. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. Like, it's like a moment of respite that finally we're not dealing with murders anymore and we can just enjoy something else. I can see that.
ベアトリーチェ、バトラ君、こちらへ。
Grandfather and Virgilia were standing on the landing at the top of the staircase, beckoning us. Beato and I looked at each other quizzically, then climbed the stairs together. From the hall, it looked like a very high stage. A small table had been set up there, as well as a piece of parchment and an old-fashioned quill pen. I saw that strange magical characters and Japanese were written side by side, and below it many names were written. No more murders, let's enjoy mackerel. Yeah. I wonder why Beatrice was so surprised when she saw her form. I have no idea about anything in this scene. So I don't know. There were 17 of them. Grandfather was the first, and everyone else's names had been signed below in one long column. The people who arrived at the Golden Land probably signed this one after another.
バトラ、お前で全てが揃う。心して聞くが。
黄金鏡は魔女の力だけで保たれている世界ではありません。そこで幸福を享受する全ての人間による協力と承認が必要なのです。そのためにここには全員のサインが揃わねばならないのです。
前回黄金鏡の扉がようやく開いたが、お前はサインを拒んだ。記憶にはないだろうがな。お前がサインを拒んだため、この世界を再び闇に閉ざしてしまったのだ。
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that he's not gonna sign this time either. I might be completely wrong.
それだけを聞いてると、なんだか俺一人が頑固で、みんなにいろいろと迷惑をかけたように聞こえるな。
そなたの頑固は折り紙付きであるからな。金蔵から受け継いでいるのは血だけではないらしいぞ。
Beato laughed amiably. I knew I was being made fun of, but that smile led me to go along with her, and I laughed without thinking.
魔法とはすなわち、奇跡は全員が信じ合わねば完成せぬ。そして最後のそなたが信じてくれることで、この奇跡は、黄金鏡は完成するのだ。
なんだかいろいろ迷惑をかけちまったみたいだな。それで俺はどうすりゃいいんだ。
まずここにあなたのサインを、次にベアトリーチェはここにサインを。
羽ペンって使いづらいな。うわっ、弾いた。
下手くそめ。インク弾きは縁起が悪いのだぞ。自分の名前くらいとっとと書け。ミミズがのたくるようにな。
お前こそなんだよ、カタカナで書くなよ。ベアトリーチェなんて洒落た名前なんだから、ちゃんと筆記体で書けよ。羽ペンと名前が泣いてるぜ。
うるさいな。筆記体はテストの時は使うなと授業で言われなかったか。
これ厳かな儀式であるぞ。沈黙せよ。
結構2人のサインが揃い、誓約書の書式が揃いました。2人の宣誓を。まずはベアトリーチェから。
I don't like where this is going. I have a really bad feeling. Oh, hey, Auli, thank you so much for the resub. How's it going? Short visit, nice to have you around. Hi, hi.
誓約書に手を添え、誓約を。ベアトリーチェは良き魔女として人々の幸福のために今後も修行を続けることを誓います。さ
あ、なんだか恥ずかしいぞ。ベアトリーチェは良き魔女として人々の幸福のために今後も修行を続けることを誓います。
I see. Well, good luck with the learning and definitely get rest in between study sessions because that's the only way that the information is actually going to settle. So, yeah. I am a little bit swamped with things going on in both my life and work, but it's alright. They're mostly getting to a finish line, so after that it's gonna be a bit chiller. Right now I am though very tired, so I'm looking for an end to this scene to go rest. Tomorrow is a really big important day, and yeah, fingers crossed that everything goes well. And next week things should already just be in much simpler, calmer waters. Yep.
これで良いか？
よろしい。次はバトラだ。
バトラ君も同様に誓約書に手を添え、
What
誓約を
oath? What is it?
後宮バトラは黄金鏡の一員として自身と隣人の幸福のために奉仕することを誓います。
後宮バトラは黄金鏡の一員として自身と隣人の幸福のために奉仕することを誓います。
Why is he so willingly parroting everything? Yeah, thank you so much, Charlie. I definitely need it.
俺も恥ずかしいぜ。
聞け皆の者、今ここに黄金鏡を認める18人の人間全員の誓約が揃った。
When Kinzo proclaimed that, everyone applauded at once, praising us. Since I'd been the only stubborn one and had just been a nuisance, I felt a little bad about being the most celebrated one.
それでは古式にのっとり最後に誓約したバトラ君に黄金鏡への招待状のサインを求めます。これは黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェを黄金鏡へ招くためのもの。黄金鏡はそれを認めた人間たちの総意によって黄金の魔女を招き、そして完成するのです。
バトラ、読み上げるぞ。しっかり聞け。我々18人は黄金の魔女をベアトリーチェと認め黄金鏡へ招きます。
なんだよお前、俺が招待状を送らないと招かれないのかよ。
そういう儀式らしい。わらわとて肩が凝るぞ。さっさと終わらせようではないか。わらわはさっきから腹が減ってかなわぬのだ。
そういや俺も缶詰をちょいとつっついただけでろくなもんを食ってないぜ。さっさとサインを済ましちまう。なになに、あなたを魔女と認めます。あれ、ずいぶんシンプルだな。じいさまめ誇張して読みやがったな。
Does he not realize it? Does he not understand? Or am I the only one who's overthinking it?
ほらほら早く。
There it is. There it is. Okay. I have the weirdest goosebumps all over my body.
そこにサインを。
Even you, Virgilia. Oh my god. There it is. There it is. The creepiness. This was it. God.
What?
Oh, and the creepy wind. And yeah. There it is.
早くサインを。
No, I don't. I think I pretty clearly stated it from the very moment that we got here. With slightly weird and uncomfortable smiles, the two of them started demanding that I sign. Oh? Hello? At that time, an incredible sound like that of a glass window breaking reverberated through the hall, and the bustling tumult melted back into complete silence. I dropped the quill pen and turned around, trying to see what had happened. You might have noticed that this is the first time Virgilia opened her eyes. It is, I noticed. I was very creeped out. Yeah. It definitely contributes, yes. Signed an invitation as a no! I don't want to sign anything. I don't want Battler to sign anything. Okay. Oh, she looks cute. Oh wow, I love that shirt, coat, whatever that is. I love the sleeves. When I did, where had she come from? A human who clearly hadn't been here a short while ago was in the very center of the hall looking up at us. The third main character of the novel. Oh, okay, so late at the party? Alright. Who's that? A woman? She's probably about the same age as Jessica and me. But I didn't know that face. None of the other people here knew that face either.
なんだ貴様は！何者だ！どこから現れた！わらわのパーティーに招待状なき客は必要ない。家具ども、つまみ出せ！
仰せのままに。囲め！
The seven sisters of Purgatory surrounded her from 7 directions, taking out magic blades that drew purple trails and blocking her. And from out of nowhere, shuffling goat-head servants appeared in great numbers surrounding that woman. On top of that, the Chester sisters stood in front of Beato like a wall, readying a golden bow and pulling back the bowstring. But the woman didn't move at all. On the contrary, she was still staring at us on the landing, not paying them the slightest bit of attention. Who is she looking at? Beato? Grandfather? Could it be me? She has the same hair color and eye color as Battler, doesn't she? Am I crazy? Yes, the woman was staring straight into my eyes, glaring. Then after our eyes met perfectly, she yelled.
それにサインしてはダメ！自ら敗北を認めるの？
Yeah.
魔女に騙されないで！
魔女に？
Just then, something incredibly strong lifted me by the nape of my neck. What's going on? And after I was forced to turn around, I saw Virgilia with an eerily smile on her face and the muscular forms of goat monsters. Oh, God. A goat monster that looked like it was 2 meters tall was holding me up with an arm as thick as a log.
招かれざる来客に耳を貸す必要などありませんよ。さあ、あなたはサインをするのです。
Yeah, you're very enticing and convincing right now.
この宣誓書に、後ろ宮バトラは魔女の存在を認めると。さあ、この宣誓書にサインを。
Virgilia's betrayal hurt me on a deep level back then. I mean, I understand she had no reason to be loyal to our side, let's say. I'm just trying to figure it out. Yeah. To make sense of it, basically. As the goat monsters constricted me with the power of a vise, they forced me to grab the quill pen. I couldn't even touch the floor with my feet, much less resist.
バトラー、なんで抵抗するんだよ。さっきはコロッとサインしてくれそうだったじゃないかよ。今さら心変わりなんてするなよ。魔女を認めてもいいかなって一瞬思っただろ。
In my notes I wrote, damn it, Beatrice got me hook, line and sinker. It hit me hard too. Aside from hitting hard or not, actually the one thought I have in my mind is, what was all of this supposed to even be? Because I thought we were getting some character growth. But to me, this is an evolution? Devolution? Is okay. I'm not drawing any conclusions yet because we've just, you know, seen a little bit of it, but alright. I'm already thinking ahead. Yeah, I open my heart to you, girls. Even though I didn't really like you from the beginning. I very openly and without judgment gave you a shot. What is this supposed to be? Because if this is what it looks like it is, there is no way in hell I'm doing that a second time. There's no way in hell I'm going to like the character of Beatrice by the end of this. But okay, let's not jump ahead. Yeah, just fine.
思ったんだろ
俺は騙されてたって、そんなバカな。ベアとはそんなやつじゃ。
悪いなバトラー、こんなやつでよ。もうダメだ。甘ったるい何や節はやっぱわらわの肌に合わねえや。お師匠様、力ずくで頼むぜ。地味な役回りだったんで、すっかり退屈してたんで。何者か知らねえが、女たっぷりぐちゃぐちゃのねちゃねちゃに糸が引くほどぶっ殺してやるぜ。女に生まれてきたことを後悔させてやるよ。
Beato raised her gold pipe high, and the massive chandelier hanging in the hall crackled with electricity, and from that fell an almighty purple thunderbolt. Aye. Watching people's opinions of the characters over time is one of the best aspects of Umineko. Yeah, it's definitely dynamic. I don't know what to say. It was a direct hit on the woman right below it and should have turned her to ash. However, not a single hair was singed.
Oh. 飛び入りするだけのことはある。聞こう。名を名乗れ。
あんたに名乗る名前なんてないわ。それよりバカ、いつまで騙されてるのよ。
Like your opinion of Rosa from the start up to the end of episode 2. Alright.
このお人よし、早く気づいて。
I don't know if I had that much of a development of my opinion of Rosa. I just feel like I just saw her as a human with all of the layers and both light and shadow that entails, I guess.
これが全て魔女の罠であることに。
Those words were aimed at me. This is all... Oh, sorry. I went too fast. This is all the witch's trap, she says. That can't be. Beato reformed and swore to become a good witch. Yeah. It was all too good to be true.
ベアト、罠なんて嘘だよな。嘘だと言ってくれ。
悪いなバトラー、結構面白かったぜ。しかしお師匠様の言う通りにしてみたんだが、本当に結構いいとこまで行けたな。なんでもツンツンと残虐を尽くした後に程よくへたれて出れてみせると好感度ってやつが大幅アップするんだろ。出れて病んでる悪役が最近はイケてるって聞いたぜ。これでもよ、最近流行りの漫画とかアニメとかギャルゲーで結構勉強したんだぜ。そうしたらお前案の定お涙ちょうだいでコロリだよ。バーカ、本当に単純なやつ。これぞ名付けて北風と太陽作戦というわけよ。
I don't think she realizes what kind of thing she has broken by doing this. I think it's gonna come and bite her right in the bum, but we'll see.
そんな。
くそてめえ。よくも騙しやがったな。
ああ、その表情
No, it does not. Battler, get the
一番お
grip.
前には似合ってるさ。お前の気遣うようなあの表情な。背中がかゆくなってそれをこらえるので必死であったぞ。残念でした。魔女は改心なんて示せ。
Okay, okay.
サインを頼むぜ、お師匠様。飛び入り客はわらわの獲物よ。
さあ、あなたはもうこのサインを拒めませんよ。さあ、ほら、サインをして身も心も魂も捧げてしまいなさい。
I have to say, this is very, very disturbing. When Virgilia lifted her chin as a signal, the goat monsters, with an even more vise-like power, forced my arm to approach the parchment. These guys are trying to make me sign, even if it breaks my arm. At that moment, a bright red light burst open with me at the center, knocking the witches and the goat monsters away. Did that woman save me? But who in the world is that? I don't have a clue.
こんなところでいつまで遊んでいるつもりなの？いい加減にして。あなたが羨ましいわ。
助けてもらってなんだが、ひでえ言われようだぜ。
Look at them, they literally have the same color of hair.
すまねえがあんた、どちらさんだ？
Best Umineko characters finally here. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. Same color of eyes too, look at them.
六軒島の魔女、彼は返してもらうわよ。
誰が返すか愚か者。バトラはわらわの玩具だ。わらわのお気に入りの世界で一番の玩具だ。飽きぬぞ、捨てるぞ、誰にも渡さぬぞ。バトラとて今を精一杯楽しんでおる。
No, no, we're not.
わらわと一緒にこんなにも楽しく遊んでおるのだ。
No.
そなたが何者であろうとも、それを。
ええ、本当に楽しそうね。腹立たしいくらいに羨ましいわ。こんな素敵なところでみんなでワイワイ楽しく賑やかにゲラゲラと、たくさんの美人の魔女たちに囲まれてチヤホヤされて。
Even her expressions are so battler-like. Am I crazy?
さぞや楽しくて帰りたくないでしょうよ。
俺に言ってるのか？おいおい、そりゃ誤解だ。俺だって迷惑してる。何が楽しいもんか。俺の苦労を知りやがれってんだ。
何が苦労よ。お父さんお母さんと楽しく過ごして、いとこみんなでキャッキャと遊んで、愉快な魔女たちといつまでも永遠に遊んで過ごせる。
Mom and Dad?
なんてあなたは幸せなの？あなたたちが羨ましいわよ。わかってる？私も混ぜてほしいくらい。
Second best, okay. Alright, sure. I mean, obviously, it's fine to have different preferences and different tiers of love for the characters.
あいにくだが、それは断るぞ。わらわは手持ちの玩具で満足しておる。そなたのようなそやな玩具は、わらわのおもちゃ箱にふさわしくない。
ええ、わかってるわ。誰があんたなんかと遊ぶものですか。でも少しだけ感謝するわ。こうしてみんなに合わせてくれて。
お前誰なんだ、まさか。
なるほど。そう。ああ、わかったぞ。そなたの正体だ。なるほどな。ベルンカステル教の送り込んだ駒とはそなたなのか。
Courtesy of Bern. To be honest, at the moment, it is very hard for me to trust or have any sort of positive feeling towards anything a supposed witch does in this game. Okay? So, nothing personal against Burn, but
改めてそなたをわらわのパーティーに招こうではないか。たっぷり歓迎してやるぞ。バトラともども仲良く遊んで壊して殺して潰して灰にしてパン生地に混ぜてふっくりと焼き上げてくれるわ。
はあ、ダメね。全然ダメだわ。
She's female battler, what does that mean? I was actually waiting for it to be some sort of like, okay, introduction or whatever. She said the line, she did. Look at her, like everything, her mannerisms, her expressions, everything. She said it, chat, she did. Yeah, I was waiting for a bit of an introduction or something to kind of like leave it there. I don't know where to even stop here. I need to go to sleep, but oh wow.
あんたにそれはできやしない。1986年の六軒島で何があったのか、私が全て白日の下にさらしてやるわ。
Ooh. I'm seconds away. Okay.
あんたなんて真実という春に怯える霜柱でしかないことを教えてやる。
So I'm kind of getting to the point where like, is it even happening?
覚悟なさい、黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。
Ah, okay, there we go. Fine, great. Battler died on the ninth twilight. Eva Beatrice. Sure. Kinzo died first twilight. Kraus on 7th twilight. 8th twilight for Natsuhi. 10th twilight for Jessica. Yeah, okay, we kind of know this. Burn's first major contribution saves the game. So she is Battler's half-sister from the future? Okay. To be honest, I did not, because I was looking at chat. I will check it out. It's gonna be saved in the bot anyway. I can't be bothered to read on which twilight everyone died, you know. And so I kind of like glossed over it. Returned alive is what it said. Okay. Yeah, I hope she enjoyed her Mountain of Gold. Must have been incredibly fun. Banquet of the Golden Witch results. And the Golden Land once again crumbled away into the darkness. However, a winner finally emerged in the Golden Witch's game. The winner is the new Golden Witch Eva Beatrice because she solved the riddle of the gold in time. The 17 all died. When the seagulls cried, just one person was left alive. Okay. We have a survivor for the first time, ominous. Eva won. Yeah, she solved the riddle, that is true. But did she win, though? If we weren't to think about the layers and the implications of that, did she truly win? Alright. Rest is gonna happen next time. And speaking of next time, actually, let me go over here and edit the schedule so that it's correct now. We're gonna be doing live stream based on our usual programming of Tuesdays and Thursdays for the foreseeable future. Thank you for pulling through a bit longer to see the end, as you're probably super tired. I am, but that's alright. The ending was quite engaging, so I'm not like I'm falling asleep at my desk. But I really do need to go to rest, just objectively speaking, because I have a very long late day tomorrow. The goal seems about as cursed as the One Ring. Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't consider her necessarily a winner. She solved the riddle. Sure. Did she win? That's debatable. The Witch of Bug is this. Yes, she's powerful, powerless against Nezu. That's the saddest takeaway from today's stream. Is that a sad takeaway? I wouldn't want to be defeated by the Witch of Bugs, because then I wouldn't have a job anymore. Yeah. Alright. I should have saved this, okay? Let's see. Scheduled stream Tuesday, Thursday. Yep. Everything is all good. So I will see you then, and I'm trying my best to stop this thing from playing. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Have a good second half of the week, I guess. Usually I say have a good weekend, but it's Wednesday today, so it doesn't really make a sense. Bear is on the magic side. Of course, that is alright. I understand. I understand. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining on weird off-schedule day. I appreciate your presence even more than usual. This was quite something that happened tonight. I'm gonna need a bit of time to process it, and thankfully I'm gonna get it until next Tuesday. And yeah, I guess we will see what happens next with the little bits of tea party and the question mark thing, and whatever is awaiting us in the next episodes, I assume. Oh, thank you so much for passing by, Tostaters. Maybe if you manage to come by next week as well, you will actually see me, because this week I couldn't stream with a cam. But next week I will do my darn best that will happen. It won't be like the best backdrop ever in the history of the universe, but it will be at least something, and I will be visible. Yeah. Until then, take care of yourselves, rest well, hope your week and weekend go smoothly, whatever you need to take care of. Fingers crossed for myself as well. And see you Tuesday. Thank you so much again for joining. This has been a blast, and you are always making this quite an amazing experience. Oh, you've been watching the VODs. That's so nice. Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you. Alrighty, heart spam from me as well. And a good night. I'm not the best. I'm just me. When we come together, things become awesome. But I'm hardly the best. I'm just a cog in the wheel, I guess. Take care, guys. Love you so much. See you next time. Bye.